one thing I like about this fight is that both of these guys, I know none of them are superstars, especially like, around the world, UK, in the US, like in terms of boxing, these guys, they're not, the names that don't really scream out, like Canelo Alvarez, Floyd Money Mayweather, Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, even Alexander Usyk seems to be making more noise than these two guys. So I really like this fight in terms of just for the purists, for the students of the game, who people that really study boxing, especially me. Like I have great passion for the science of boxing, and it intrigues me. This fight is so intriguing. Watching these two well-matched boxers going at it, locking horns. You know what I mean? Going for all the titles. Um, Artur Beterbiev, he holds 3 of the belts, and Dmitry Bivol, he's got 1 of the belts. So it's going to be a very interesting fight. In Dmitry Bivol, you've got a guy, a boxer. It's just this guy is just it's a pure, it's just pure boxer. It's just all science, lateral movement. Do you know what I mean? Head movement, the jab, the combination that he throws, foot movement. Dimitri Bivol is one of those fighters that, like, I've never really seen someone quite like him. Where when I watch him, yeah, especially me, like I'm an amateur coach, yeah, and when I study Dimitri Bivol a lot, because I just love the way he approaches every single fight, and he makes it look so simple, yet it's so hard. Like the things that Dimitri Bivol does, yeah, if you try and coach it to boxers, amateur boxers and stuff, like he's a challenge. He's a challenge, but the way he floats and everything like that makes it look so simple. Like it's just beautiful to watch. Like I said, like if you're a purist, yeah, if you're really into your boxing, yeah, if you're not like a casual, this is one of those fights. It's for the ages. You know what I mean? This fight is for the ages, and it's gonna go down in history. Do you know what I mean? It's gonna go down in history because neither of these guys are backing down. Like I was saying, Dimitri Bivol, like head movement, upper body movement, lower body movement, in terms of his lateral movement, leg footwork, and everything like that. The way everything just coordinates and goes together, like it's a thing of beauty. Like you don't really see a lot of boxers like that. You have boxers who have certain strengths, like maybe a head movement strength, maybe great upper body movement, or maybe great footwork. But Dimitri Bivol, I can honestly say, yeah, and you can challenge me on this, yeah. Let me know in the comments. But Dimitri Bivol is one of those fighters that he does everything right. He's almost perfect. Dimitri Bivol he's almost perfect. Like when you watch his fight against Canelo Alvarez, like the guy is just like he absolutely shut down Canelo, shut him down. Canelo is an elite fighter. And the way Dimitri Bivol was able to just bully him, shut him down, like completely distract his game plan here was a thing of beauty. And he's almost the perfect boxer. And he's gonna have to be. Dmitry Bivol is gonna have to be the perfect boxer simply because he's taking on Artur Beterbiev here, who I'm calling the beast. So Dmitry Bivol, I'm calling the beauty simply because of his pure boxing style and how easy he makes boxing look. On the other hand, you got the beast in Artur Beterbiev here. This guy is an absolute demolisher. He's absolutely destroyed everyone that's come within his path here. So the guy, I'll just tell you guys, guys and girls, some of the stats here that we've got in terms of just ability and everything like that. Look, these two guys are well matched. The challenges that both men will have to overcome is basically who will be able to impose their style on the other guy. This is what it's really gonna come down to. Do you know what I mean? Because if you look at the stats, we look at their record, they're almost equally matched. Like we're just gonna look at Beterbiev. Now Beterbiev has had 20 fights. He's knocked everyone out. Artur Beterbiev has had 20 fights. He's got 20 knockouts. Like that is incredible. Like 100% rate knockout ratio in the light heavyweight division. That is crazy. Like, is there another fighter right now that has that type of record as Artur Beterbiev? I do not think so. Now Dimitri Bivol, he's got 23 fights and he's got 12 knockouts. Now, look, it's not quite the same as Artur Beterbiev, but it don't mean like it doesn't mean that Dimitri Bivol will not be able to finish or stop Artur Beterbiev. I believe Bivol does have the capability to stop Beterbiev, but it's gonna be a challenge because Beterbiev does have a great chin. Even though Beterbiev, yeah, he gets hit. We saw Beterbiev in his last fight against Anthony Yard. Anthony Yard did step on it and did hurt Beterbiev, and Beterbiev was on survival mode. And even though he overcame that, but it did show a lot of weakness in his armor. Do you know what I mean? So, and a fighter like Dmitry Bivol, he will definitely exploit those weaknesses, and that's going to be a challenge for Beterbiev because a lot of the time during that fight, which I believe is going to be fought in the pocket, and if Dimitri Bivol gets that movement going, if he gets the fight in the center of the ring, and you know that jab that he has, that step jab step kind of sequence type of technique that he has, he could really do some damage on Artur Beterbiev, especially Artur Beterbiev. I believe in this fight, he's gonna be the slower fighter. He's definitely gonna be the slower fighter. So I think like Dimitri Bivol can exploit some of those weaknesses within Beterbiev's armor. So it's gonna be interesting who really imposes the will on the other, because if Beterbiev is able to get that game plan that he always has, where he's always coming forward, he likes to put his opponents on the back foot. That's exactly how he likes to fight, his fights. He's a pressure fighter. He's gonna come forward, he's gonna put that pressure on, yeah. Bit of movement. He hasn't got the greatest head movement in the world, which I feel again will be to his detriment because the movement of Dimitri Bivol, the jab. I mean, let's talk about Bivol's jab. I mean, in his last fight, I forgot the guy that he fought, but I've got the stats. In his last fight, yeah, he landed like his jabs. I think he landed like 64 jabs in one of the rounds. Yeah, he was averaging like 39-40% on his power jabs. Yeah, what I mean by that, the power jabs are those are the ones, not the little pokey ones. Now, these are the ones where he's more power on it, and that's hurting you. That's breaking your nose. That's making you bleed. It's getting you uncomfortable. It's making you not want to come forward and chase the guy. And with someone like Artur Beterbiev, who's coming forward, who wants to be the aggressor, like I called him, he's the beast. If that jab gets going by Dimitri Bivol, that could be a big problem for Beterbiev, especially because he hasn't got the greatest head movement. Do you know what I mean? He's great at closing the range. He's great at cutting off the ring. But if he's getting jabbed to death in that fight, it could get pretty nasty for him very quickly if he's not careful. If his head movement is not there, if he's not moving off the line, he's gonna get pepper sprayed with that jab from Dmitry Bivol. So it's gonna be very, very interesting because the fight, if he's fought in the pocket, which he will, Beterbiev will have to get in the pocket to have any chance of landing because of Dmitry Bivol's movement. He's gonna be in a lot of dangers there. Now, the dangers for Dmitry Bivol is he has to watch for that pressure that comes from a Beterbiev, and he has to watch the power, man, because if Beterbiev is able to put Dmitry Bivol on the back foot, yeah, he's able to close him down, he's able to close the ring, cut off all any type of angle that Bivol can find, and Beterbiev is able to neutralize Bivol. He can get the right hand going. And if he touches that chin of Bivol, we haven't really seen Bivol get tested to the level where he's really being hurt bad. I haven't seen it yet. Let me know in the comments if you have. But if Beterbiev was to touch that chin, almost everyone goes down when Beterbiev touches that chin. And Beterbiev is one of those fighters where he's a nasty guy, man. This guy is a nasty guy. Once he has you in range, yeah, once he's got you like cornered, he lets his hands go, and both hands are vicious. Vicious. He causes destruction. He's got power on both hands, yeah, and he will land those blows, power shots, yeah. And when I'm not sure if Bivol can overcome those powers, man. If he can come out of it, like he wasn't really tested against Canelo. Canelo was a smaller guy coming up. Artur Beterbiev is naturally a light heavyweight. He's a big guy. He's used to this weight. He's fought big guys, so he will be able to like throw shots and land bombs. If Bivol is not careful, man, he could get really hurt and get knocked out in this fight. Especially the knockout ratio is on Beterbiev's side. He's got 100% knockout ratio. So very, very interesting how Bivol can overcome being pressured, being cornered, the ring being cut off, yeah, him getting put into a corner, being put into situations that he's not used to. Yeah, we'll see how Bivol has to deal with that. That's what I'm saying, man. This fight is so intriguing. Like it's all about, like I said before, it's all about which fighter is able to impose their will on the other. Like which fighter can adapt quickly as well, because the fight might start off slow because Beterbiev, naturally he's just a slow starter. He picks up the pace as the fight goes on. Now, again, that's the wrong type of fight you want to have with someone like a Dmitry Bivol, because he could be 5, 6 rounds on you. Yeah, with that movement, with that jab and everything like that, with that pure boxing that he's got, throwing the combination, quick, he's got quick hands, Bivol. And Beterbiev can find himself in a situation where he's about 4, 5 rounds down because he's a slow starter. And what happens if he's not able to catch Bivol in the 6th, 7th, 8th round? Like, would he get desperate? And if he does get desperate, that's when he kind of loses his discipline. That's when he starts getting hit a lot more, and sometimes he even goes a bit square. And if he's going square against Bivol, trust me, he might get knocked out. He might get knocked out. And I feel like Bivol wants to go for the knockout in this fight because he wants to prove a point. He wants to prove that, listen, I'm a big puncher too. You might have 20 knockouts, but trust me, if I catch you, I can hurt you. Because I feel like Bivol is at a stage where he's 33 years old. A lot of people kind of labeled him like kind of a boring fighter, etc., etc. So I feel like those voices are kind of getting into his head, and he kind of wants to prove people wrong because in his last fight, he stopped the guy. So he's thinking, you know what? If I want to be the undisputed light heavyweight champion of the world, yeah, if I want to go down in history, if I want to do it properly, shut everyone's mouths and everything like that, I'll have to knock this guy out. This guy that everyone thinks is a beast, this guy that everyone thinks is, the big dog and he's so scary, he's got power on both hands. If I finish this guy, if I knock him out, like I'm the greatest, man. I'm the guy. So I don't think Bivol himself will want to win this fight by points, but just movement and sideways. And he can do that. Bivol can do that all day long. You know what I mean? Do the step, jab, step, combination, throw the right hand movement. He can do that all day long and shut down Beterbiev. But I feel like, he's going to be kind of like pushed into having a bro. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, and if he does get pushed into having a bro, it could favor Beterbiev because he's the guy that carries all the power in this fight. Do you know what I mean? Like, Beterbiev will wanna have a bro. He wanna have that fight because then Bivol loses a little bit of discipline. He loses a little bit of that technique. If he becomes, then it becomes who lands that punch first, like who hurts the other one. And we're looking at history here. We're looking at the stats, the records, yeah. Bivol is the guy that carries the power. He's the one that's knocked everyone out. So it's gonna be interesting, man. It's gonna be interesting, and I'm really looking forward to this fight simply because, like I said, I'm a student of the game. I studied boxing real hard, and I love the contrasting style of both fighters. If you got students, if you got boxers, you're two boxers, in your academy, whatever, and you're trying to get some styles done, like you want them watching these two guys. You kind of like if you got two people sparring, right? If you're getting someone ready for a fight, you kind of want both of these guys to spar your fighter. You want a Bivol who's got great movement, great technique, who's a pure boxer, who's gonna make your fighter miss the punches. Do you know what I mean? Who's gonna pepper spray him with a jab all day long and make it hard for him. But also, so that what that will do, that will enable your fighter to learn some ring IQ and also like just to like just know how to deal with pure better boxers. Do you know what I mean? It's gonna give them that experience of where they can't touch someone. They're gonna have to adapt midway or something. They have to do something different if you can't touch these guys that are good. And if you bring in someone like Artur Beterbiev to spar one of your fighters in your gym, he brings that pressure, he brings that punching power. Now you want your fighter then to do exactly what Bivol does, which is literal movement. Do you know what I mean? Like not moving back in straight lines, but you know what I mean? Kind of like spinning, turning, like, you know what I mean? Keep your head movement, keep the jab going. Like that's what you want your fighters to prepare, those type of fighters. And because of that two contrasting style, it makes it a crazy, crazy matchup, man. And this fight is going under the radar. It's not really getting the type of attention that it should be getting for a fight of this magnitude. But I just like it like that. Some fights are so great that it's just better off just in silence. Like, do you know what I mean? Once the results are out, then everyone can hype and talk about it. But I like the way the whole promotion is going. I'm fine with it. And these two fighters, they don't care about pay-per-view sales. They don't care about impressing anyone. They don't care about modeling or do you know what I mean? Like wearing the latest brands or trends or anything like that. These guys are just pure boxers. And they want to go out there and just give it their best. And you know, and whoever comes out on top comes out on top. These guys are both Russians. So they've got that Eastern European, you know, kind of like mentality of where I'm tough, I'm strong, and I'm gonna come out on top. So, you know, it's gonna be very intriguing, very interesting fight, like I said, because both fighters are so different. And in boxing, like they always say, styles make fights. I don't know, man. I don't really know where I stand on this, simply because I really like both guys. And if it was up to me, they won't be fighting each other. They will not be fighting each other simply because they're both undefeated. One of these guys, you know, that I really like, you know, come, you know, the evening on the 12th of October, one of these guys are gonna lose their all, man. Their all has to go. And that would be really sad for me. But at the same time, I'm kind of happy like the best are fighting the best. And again, you have to thank Turkey Al Sheikh, Riyadh Season for putting on these fights, you know, putting the money on the table and getting these guys, you know, in boxing really, you know, fighting the best. We're getting, you know, we're getting to a stage where the best are fighting the best. There was a time when the UFC, you know, was kind of taking over boxing. It took, not even kind of taking over, but the UFC took over boxing in terms of the ratings, pay-per-views, simply because Dana White, the UFC, they were putting up the best fights. They were putting the best versus the best. And in boxing, everyone was kind of ducking each other, protecting their records and stuff like that. But now I feel like almost the roles have reversed where the UFC's kind of gone down. Boxing with the likes of Joshua, you know, especially with the Rhea season coming into the fold, boxing is really back on top in terms of pay-per-view sales. In terms of now we're seeing the big fights, the best fights, fight the best. We're seeing some of the best fighters in the world now starting to lose because everyone's fighting the best now. And that's exactly what I like, because there's no shame on losing to like, your biggest rival, because he's the best fighter. That's the best fighter. You don't want to lose to some bum. You want to lose to the guy who's also considered one of the best in your division, because that makes you a great too. That makes you great too. You know what I mean? Especially if it's a competitive fight. And that's exactly the type of fights that I want to see. And Bivol versus Artur Beterbiev is one of those fights. It's for the ages, man. Trust me, we're gonna remember the day that we watched this fight. We're gonna be like, wow, these two strong Russian guys came together, lock horns, clashed. You know, one of them, whoever comes out on top, Bivol, Beterbiev, and we're gonna see like that was one of the most legendary fights of all time. I'm really predicting a very competitive matchup till the last minute. If it does go the distance, I expect both guys to be swinging, both guys to get hurt in different parts of the fight. Do you know what I mean? Maybe Bivol, like we know, because he's got a great lateral movement, is probably that the best skilled boxer out of the two. Where, you know, I'm kind of expecting Bivol to come out quick out of the blocks and really put the pose on Beterbiev and really like bamboozle him with the movement, the jab, and everything like that. It might take Beterbiev a couple of rounds just to readjust and, you know, get his wits about him. And do you know what I mean? And by that time, it might be too late. He might have to be forced to come forward, start swinging, trying to hurt Bivol, and then Bivol might get hurt. He might have to survive that and get himself back in order and then come back and box. So it's a very intriguing matchup, which I just love. Like as a student of boxing, I love these type of matchups. I'm not gonna lie, I really love it, and I'm gonna be watching it, you know, as a student as well, because I want to be studying how these two contrasting styles, yeah. Like I want to be watching to see who really comes out on top. Because me, when I'm coaching students and everything like that, like I want to be able to like give them a game plan on how to deal with different type of boxes. And these two guys are just great examples of how you actually want fighters to fight. You know, they both got great chins. They're both tough. They both knock people out. They can box. Bivol, pure box and everything like that. Like these are just the guys that I just love in boxing. None of that gimmicky shit. None of that, all these nonsense crap. Now we're coming here, we're fighting, we're getting the belts, and one of them's gonna walk out there victorious, and they're gonna walk out as the undisputed light heavyweight champion of the world, which it hasn't been done for 20 years. The last guy that done it was Roy Jones Jr. So what a great achievement. What a night of history that's gonna be made on the 12th of October. And yeah, man, I'm looking forward to that. Let me know what you think in the comments. who you got winning this fight, Artur Beterbiev or Dmitry Bivol? Do you know what I mean? I just feel like I'm gonna be on the fence on this, man. I'm gonna sit on the fence simply because I like both guys, man. I'm one of them guys. Like I'm not even watching it as a neutral, like where I can enjoy the fight. I will enjoy in terms of the skill, the show, what's on offer. But I'm kind of like gonna be uncomfortable that one of the guys that I really like, one of the boxers, one of my favorite boxers in the world, one of them's gonna lose. And I don't want that. So I'm just gonna sit on the fence on this. May the best man win. Yeah, may the best man win. Either way, if the fight is competitive and it goes the distance, why not? Let's see a rematch on that. We might even see a trilogy. That would be fantastic because at the moment right now, these two are the best light heavyweight champions, light heavyweight fighters in the world by a mile, a country mile. They've both destroyed everyone that's come, across their path. And now they meet, they lock horns. Intriguing, fascinating fight. And why a great card. Chris Eubank Jr. is also on that card, so that makes it very interesting as well. Yeah, man, once again, thank you so much for watching, man. If you did watch this video from the start to the end, I really appreciate that, man, because that's what I kind of like, me coming on here, breaking these fights down, talking to you, conversating, and do you know what I mean? We go through together and, we pick a winner at the end of it who we think, is the stronger guy, who we think is going to win the fight. So I really enjoy these type of conversations. And by you supporting, by you subscribing, liking, and sharing these videos, listen, you're just encouraging me to just keep coming back, growing the channel and bringing you great content. So yeah, man, listen, if you're new to the channel as well, don't forget, like and subscribe. I'll really appreciate that. But listen, once again, thank you so much for watching EMGM Sports. It's your boy Enzo. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.